Loki, you're gonna start taking things seriously. Clock's ticking. Clock's always ticking.
This has any relevance or bearing on...
This is the good part.
On June 9th.
I am Loki, and I am burdened with glorious purpose.
He's really arrogant.
The time for glory is now.
Come on. What did you expect?
My new series, Loki, is coming soon to Disney+. And to help get you ready, I'm gonna catch you up in just 30 seconds. My dad, Odin, says my brother Thor can be king. I'm jealous. Plus, he's not my real dad, so I get my real dad to kill Odin, but then I save him. Thor's mad anyway. I'll be fine. Cut to Earth. I steal the Tesseract from S.H.I.E.L.D., help the Chitauri invade Earth, and the Avengers stop them, and I go to jail until Thor needs me to help defeat the Dark Elves. Next thing you know, I'm king, but everyone thinks I'm Odin. Our sister Hela shows up. Cue another Thor-Loki team up. We beat her. Then Thanos shows up. We don't beat him, and I die. Thanos kills half the universe. The Avengers go back in time to stop him, giving an earlier version of me a chance to grab the Tesseract. Oh, hang on! Okay, that's better. Thanos gets defeated, and the next thing you know, I've got a job offer from some group that calls itself the TVA. And that's it. Find out what happens next by streaming Loki exclusively on Disney+.
Welcome back, everyone. Burdened with glorious trailers. We have a brand new Loki trailer to break down with a whole bunch of new footage, him talking about his own death going up against Thanos, so we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, I'll be doing videos for all the episodes, so be sure to subscribe to get everything. It's going to start in a couple weeks. The drought will be over. We kind of went about 6 weeks without any new Marvel episodes. It was pretty weird. There's so much Marvel stuff coming this year. There will be very few breaks between the next couple of Marvel Disney Plus series and the Marvel movies that we're finally getting some movies. But I also love in this trailer how he's joking about people pirating the show. Like, watch it exclusively, wink, on Disney Plus. It's a very Loki thing to do. He knows exactly what's going on out there. I am doing a giveaway for Disney Plus memberships, by the way, in all my Loki episodes. All you have to do to enter that is just be a subscriber and leave all your theories about the series on the video. But it seems like Mobius, Owen Wilson's character, is actually showing this variant Loki, the main Loki of the series from Avengers Endgame, his own death as it was supposed to happen during the events of Avengers Infinity War. So during the clip, obviously he covers that part of his timeline. We faced Thanos, didn't win, I died. He's talking about the original version of Loki, the one that we think of as the main Loki that we've been watching this whole time in all the Marvel movies. This one became a variant when he stole the Tesseract and used the Space Stone to escape, per the rules of time travel and the way time works in the MCU, as given to us by the Ancient One during Endgame. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of questions about how time travel works, the rules. They kind of set that up during Endgame, but they're going to clarify a lot of those rules during the Loki series. But when he stole the Space Stone, that created a bunch of alternate timelines, which each function like fully alternate realities, alternate universes. And the idea is they want to get rid of those because the future versions of himself in all those alternate timelines are way worse than he is right now. So part of the pitch that Mobius is giving Loki here in his debriefing after the trial is to show him the major events of his life, like sitting him down to do a rewatch of all the Marvel movies. Big marathon. A lot of you probably did that last year during 2020 because we all got stuck in our homes for a hot minute during the lockdown. But it wasn't clear till we started getting more footage of this scene, but you can actually see that this particular scene here is a good example. When they're watching the highlight reel, this scene is actually from the events of Thor Ragnarok, which haven't happened yet for this version of Loki. The series takes place right after he steals the Tesseract at Avengers Endgame, but that was during 2012 at the end of the first Avengers movie, so he hasn't experienced the events of Thor Ragnarok or Avengers Infinity War yet. I know there are a ton of questions about him using the Space Stone to time travel, so I'll clarify that when the series starts, because the way they pitch the series, I think there's some misconceptions about what's happening with the Space Stone. All the time travel on the series is happening because of the technology that the Time Variance Authority uses, which kind of looks like they're using quantum energy. Just the portals are the same color as a lot of the quantum energy that the Avengers use to time travel, and the quantum energy you see in the quantum realm during Ant-Man and the Wasp. But if Mobius is showing him his future that he was supposed to have had were he to not have stolen the Infinity Stone, he'd also eventually find out how he was killed by Thanos trying to sacrifice himself to save Thor and the rest of the universe in an act of true heroism. That's the whole reason why Mobius is willing to take a shot on him, because he saw that all play out. The Time Variance Authority in the series exists outside of normal space-time, so they're kind of inside a pocket dimension of sorts. They were created before the heat death of the main MCU universe by the Timekeepers, these beings that you see here, the lizard beings that Loki was joking about in that last clip, space lizards. So they got a complete record of everything that ever happened to anyone, to anything inside the universe, all the way from the Big Bang, the creation of the universe, the creation of the Celestials, all the way to the end of time in this universe, the heat death, until you have another contraction and another Big Bang cycle where a new universe is born. So I know the next question is, if they saw everything that ever happened, why didn't the Time Variance Authority try to stop Thanos from snapping the Infinity Gauntlet in Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame? And why didn't they arrest the Avengers when they went back in time to steal the Infinity Stones and assemble the new Infinity Gauntlet? Because you'd think that some other person in the future, like Kang the Conqueror, would also think to use that same plan, like, I'll just travel back in time, steal the Infinity Stones from different points in history before Thanos atomized them, and do whatever I want to with reality. The main reason why the TVA didn't go after Thanos in the first place is because Thanos technically was not altering this timeline. The Infinity Stones, as explained by the Ancient One, help create the normal flow of time in each universe where they exist. So snapping the Infinity Gauntlet might alter reality in the universe in some way, but it doesn't create new branch timelines, per the rules that Marvel's using for time travel in the MCU. And because the TVA exists outside of normal space-time, they were protected from the effects of the Infinity Gauntlet. All the Infinity Gauntlet snaps, all 4 of them that we know about. So you could snap the gauntlet 100 more times and alter reality however you wanted, and it still wouldn't affect this place, the Time Citadel. So technically, Thanos was not breaking any of their rules. More on this in a second, because it does relate to what Loki was talking about in that other new clip from episode 1, where he questions whether or not the Timekeepers are the real villains in all this. Like, how dare you mess with the lives of trillions of people all over the timeline? But also the reason why the TVA didn't try to arrest the Avengers when they traveled back in time to steal the Infinity Stones is because Captain America took all of them back to where they stole them from. He even took Mjolnir back to Thor the Dark World, thus erasing any potential alternate timelines that they created when they stole them in the first place. That was one of the reasons why the Ancient One was willing to give the Hulk the Time Stone, because she trusted that they would do the right thing and eventually bring it back. The reason why it's such a big deal that this Loki stole the Space Stone, when normally they just erase him and take the Space Stone back to where he stole it from in the first place, is because when this Loki inadvertently created all these branch realities, he created another Loki that does threaten the Time Variance Authority. That's kind of what they're implying here. In the synopsis for the series, they say that he's being recruited to take down an even greater threat to the Time Variance Authority than Thanos in the Infinity Gauntlet. So I think this even greater threat that they're describing, as implied by some of the different trailer scenes, is either female Loki, Lady Loki, whatever you want to call her, or possibly another hidden version of Loki that they haven't revealed in the trailer footage yet. For example, Richard E. Grant is playing a big character on the series, and there was a rumor that he's playing what they're calling Classic Loki, who's meant to be a version of OG Jack Kirby looking Loki. He could wind up being one of the bigger villains on the series. Female Loki, though, Lady Loki, she seems like more of an Agatha Harkness type of character. I think she's the one in all these different scenes in the hood who's running through the halls of the TVA. You also see her taking out some of these agents in other scenes using TVA technology and portals. So when I say she seems like more of an Agatha Harkness type of character, she seems really important for the plot, much more important than some of these other alternate Lokis, like the more comedic versions, like President Loki. And just like Agatha Harkness, she comes off as an antagonist, but not a super evil villain in the way that Thanos was evil. Like, you understood his perspective. He saw this big problem with overpopulation. It's just that his solution, while effective, was psychopathic. Agatha Harkness was more of an anti-hero type of character that was trying to manipulate Scarlet Witch, so she was doing a lot of really bad things. She did wind up killing a bunch of people over the years. But after the explainer that they give you in her flashback scene in Salem, you find out that all she really wanted to, at least initially, was just to learn more about her power. So she's a little bit like Baron Zemo, more of an anti-hero. You understand his perspective, but also what he's doing is very bad, like he winds up killing a ton of people. So that's kind of been Marvel's MO with the way they treat their villains on these Disney Plus series, their antagonists. So I'm expecting similar treatment with this version of Lady Loki on the series, and we might get some more footage with her early on. I think they'll tease what's going on with her during episode 1, but in the way that you didn't really find out what was going on with Agatha Harkness till a couple episodes into WandaVision, I think it'll be the same deal with Lady Loki. We won't really find out what's going on with her till a couple episodes in. So she might be the one that's messing with the TVA, threatening to take them down. But early theory, Variant Loki here will probably find out that he was correct in his assumption that the Timekeepers aren't totally good themselves and start to empathize with some of these alternate Lokis that he's kind of being sent around to kill. They're basically sending him around to close down these alternate timelines, which would erase these alternate Lokis from existence, so he's kind of going around killing other versions of himself. And I think the whole reason why they need him, the whole idea is because Lady Loki, or potentially another alternate Loki who's even worse, is beating the crap out of them, and their solution is just to send a Loki to catch a Loki. The only other character who's really pulled one over on the TVA is actually Kang the Conqueror in the comics. In the future, he was able to basically take them over and take command of all time. But if we see any really big Kang the Conqueror Easter eggs in the series, of course I'll point those out. I'm not really expecting to see a ton of Kang the Conqueror until we get to Ant-Man 3 Quantumania. But everybody post all your theories in the comments below. Who do you think the main villain of this Loki series is going to be? Which alternate version of Loki? Or do you think it's actually going to be the Timekeepers themselves that wind up being the real villains? That was kind of what they did with Wandavision. Like, they made Tyler Hayward seem like the actual villain and Agatha Harkness seem more like an anti-hero. But the other big news you probably saw is that supposedly there's going to be a new Marvel Eternals trailer this week, so if that does wind up releasing, of course I'll do a video for it. There's also supposed to be a new Spider-Man 3 No Way Home trailer sometime in the next couple of weeks. There was also a brand new Rick and Morty Season 5 trailer that just released, so I'll do a video for that next, so make sure you have alerts enabled so you don't miss any of those brand new trailers that are coming. There's going to be a lot of really cool stuff happening the next couple of weeks. Everyone click here for my video on those other Loki Episode 1 scenes and brand new footage that just released, and click here for my brand new Doctor Strange 2 Shuma-Gorath video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys tonight.